For the Smash Our Stash collaboration this month, I finished off or emptied out 3 bins worth of works in progress that have accumulated over the last several years and made a ton of stuff. So stay tuned to see what all I made. Hey guys, it's Beth. Welcome back. So this is the Smash Our Stash collaboration, and this month the theme or themes were works in progress or UFOs, whichever you call them, or projects in process, recycled items, so things that you had saved to use in a project, to recycle into a project, or things that you had collected in order to upcycle them. And I really wanted to get to that last category because I have a bunch of that, but I didn't have a chance. So I'm probably going to focus on that later on this month. But I focused on works in progress. This is what I call them, or projects in process. And I found at least 3 iris cases full, and I will post a picture here of 2 of them that I just pulled off my shelves that were full of just randomness. And I started with those, and then I also finished off a collection that was sitting in an iris bin that didn't take much to finish. So, and that's the thing, looking in these bins, I had so many projects that were like 1 step away from being done. I'm like, why did I put these away? Why didn't I just finish them before I like clear them off my desk? But I'm sure I was cleaning and I hadn't had time to finish them, so I just shoved them all into a bin thinking I'd come back to them later, and I never did. I never do. So a lot of the stuff didn't take much to finish. It was just a matter of getting it done. So I can't focus on anything in too great of detail because there are a bunch of other collaborators that are in this collaboration, and they will all be linked down below, and they all have projects to share too, so I don't want to make this a super long video, but I will kind of show you what I finished, and most of these didn't take a whole lot to finish. So in my bins were various post-it notepads in various stages. So I had this one. All I had to do was add a closure and something on the top. This one, all it needed was a closure and a notepad on the inside, and I still need to add a pin. These just needed touched up for some reason. I think the pad may have come separated, so I just fixed them. This one just needed something on the front. Done. This was a corner bookmark that was in there because I made it from the Paper Studio paper, and I did not pay attention when I was folding it that the Paper Studio brand and information were right here showing from the inside of the bookmark. So all I had to do was add a little bit of paper, slide it up in there, and cover that. Done. I had all of these card bases already, like mini 3x3 inch cards already cut, folded, ready to go, and then a whole bunch of paper squares, and I had just thrown them all in my bin. So I layered them up onto the card bases, added some stickers or embellishments if they needed them, and finally finished them off. So this one was a Captain America sticker that was in my bin. Most of these are just Christmas scraps that I had intended on making some simple little tags for. So literally, that's all I did was have to actually put the fronts on the mini cards. So I have a gazillion of these ready to go. Next was this nail file holder. All it needed was an embellishment. All I did. This was a notebook holder that I had made, and when I finished off the pad, I didn't have any of these notepads in here that have like the separated sections with chipboard in them. And so I had got the pad, and then when I got the pad, I just threw it in the bin with the notebook holder and never actually put it together. So that is now done. I had these 4th of July themed pinwheels that I had cut, and I had thought they would be cute for decoration. They were fun to, you know, make, but then I just threw them in my bin. They already had the brads in them, so I was trying to figure out what I could do with them. And for simplicity, right now, I've just taken them and put the brad closure through some ribbon, so it's not permanent. I can always unhook them and take them off if I think of something else I want to do with them. But I thought then this is just a fun little banner, pennant banner kind of thing that I can, garland that I can use for 4th of July. That took very little time. I had these little fishtail banners cut out of craft cardstock, and then all the little pieces already cut out of that red, white, and blue wood grain pattern paper. All I had to do was glue them together, and I added some blue twine behind it, and then I have another little banner. Again, these did not take much time at all to finish, and yet they were just thrown in a bin. Though now I'm getting to the ones that did take a little bit more time, but this was a collection, an old Thing American Crafts collection that I showed you a little bit about when I was making my note card holders. And I had most of the collection done, and once I finally got the video out for the note card holders, I realized I needed to actually finish off the collection. So I went through the little scraps that I had left and just made some quick cards with those. I thought I had more scraps left than I did, so that actually didn't take as long as I thought it would, which is probably why it was still sitting in the bin. I had 2 years ago, I made some Christmas cards for a friend, and she always likes some kind of like cocktail or alcohol theme just to be different with her cards. And so I had made her a set of cards and used the phrase, "'Tis the season to be tipsy." And I had used this green pattern paper and then this red and white like glitter paper. And so I had kind of saved what I had left after making her set amount of cards, thinking I was going to make more, and I never did, so I just threw it into a bin. So I took what I had left and ended up making 20 cards. I have a couple different varieties based on the papers that I had left. So I just finally took all of those remnants and put them together and made 20 Christmas cards. Done. So the other bigger project was the wine theme. I had, I don't know, several years ago, at least, probably 3 to 5 years ago, I had made some block sets as well as a bunch of cards that were kind of wine themed, and I had intended on coming back to them. And so I took all of those wine themed papers and embellishments that I had been using and threw them all together in this bin. And when I opened up the bin, I'm like, well, I don't really want to make what I had made before. Like, I'm not into that anymore. But I thought these would be cute notebook, like little Post-it note holders, you know, for craft shows, some wine themed. How many of us out there enjoy wine? And so I made 3 Post-it note holders out of some of the scraps and some of the stickers that I had left. And then I took all the paper that I had left, and one of the papers had a bunch of like phrases and wine bottles, grapes, and glasses. And so I took that paper and kind of chopped it up and used that as embellishments for all of the cards. So I ended up getting like 20 wine themed cards out of all of this wine paper that I had left. And so I just put them on some craft card base, and they're 3.5 by 5 inch, so they're smaller cards, but I mean, for little wine themed note cards, I think they're cute. So I mean, this was probably the other one that took maybe a little more time because I did ink all the edges. I just kind of threw some of the scraps together, did some fussy cutting, and finally used this paper up. Like, finally used up this. So after I get this this collection over here put away out of the iris bin, I will have emptied 3 iris bins of random work in progress projects. That is what I finished this month. A whole bunch of randomness, and none of it took a long time really by itself. And I could have saved myself the storage of putting it all in those bins in the first place. So my point is, if you have projects that are so close to being done and you have put them away for some reason, get them out, take that little bit of time and finish one. Free up that space of storage, and then maybe you'll be motivated to finish some other ones. So I'm excited to see what the other participants in the collaboration are making this month, what category, like what subcategory of the theme they chose to focus on, and maybe what they got finished and out of their stash. So hopefully this motivates you and inspires you to finish off some of those projects that are like almost done, and hopefully it will inspire us, myself included, to not put those projects that are so close to being done, they're like this close, they only need one more step, to just finish them instead of like throwing them in the bin to finish later. So I know that this has kind of made me realize that I need to be better about that. So hopefully I can be. But thank you guys so very much for your time today, and I hope you all have a very crafty day.